Boom.
Fuck you off, clap. Fuck you off, clap. Fuck you off, clap. Biddly, 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 bo. Yes, yes, yeah. Here we go. There ain't nobody down round here, bro. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. We've got a couple of shout-outs to do. Shout out to Sean Rooney, Larry Stretch, CH, Ming, and my man Ina. I cannot believe in the quick shit vid today, boys, I cannot believe I missed the opportunity to have a right good old laugh about Chrissy Wilder the other day. So obviously I saw the news come through. It's so like going back to his ex-girlfriend that many times at this point that it didn't even surprise me. You know, and he just keeps going back to Bird and you just think, this is only going one way, mate. I can't keep doing it. I can't keep supporting you through it, Chrissy Wilder. Some will. Some Leeds fans will. They remain nameless. You all know they are. You all know the Chrissy Wilder lovers are. I'm glad he's back. I can't help it. It's a shame now, though, that, you know, because it's not a shame that we've no interest in Championship, but it's just mental now, isn't it? They've shit the bed, haven't they? The only thing I can think genuinely on the club's front is obviously a bit of a nightmare, isn't he, when he's asking for stuff. And they obviously lost a few players in the summer and stuff. And then, you know, I think, to be fair to him, I think he will air his concerns, won't he, about the club or the direction of the club in general. But you have to think that he has had their pants down with the money. The only thing I would say, right, well, and rightly so if he has had the pants down with the money, because it's a two-way relationship, this. The only person that wants Sheffield United is Chrissy Wilder, and the only person that wants Chrissy Wilder is Sheffield United. Pop dick in fanny, as they say on extras, not the arse. It's absolutely mental at this point. Yeah, everybody says, oh, it's just because he's a Sheffield United fan. The reality is that's as good as it gets for him, isn't it? It's been established. For some reason, to be fair to him, I don't like Chrissy Wilder. I love to hate him. But to be fair to him, and I like characters, to be fair, in the game, so you do want him in, don't you? I can't stand Big Ange, kind of, but I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's getting battered to Arsenal 3-0 on his first game and stuff. It's all part of the parcel, isn't it? It's all part of the fun, the personalities in game. You do want it. And Chrissy Wilder is one of them. With Bamford and Forshaw, somebody commented yesterday saying, imagine if he signs Bamford. Be a stroke of genius. Be amazing. But yeah, it's a madness. He does do well at Sheffield United, doesn't he? So it's hard to argue with the fact that, you know, he just keeps on going back. You know, it's his one true love, isn't it? It's his one true love. But yeah, he's back for his third term. I would imagine he'll get to the end of the year. It'd be interesting to actually follow it along a little bit and see how they actually get on. I mean, they have been diabolical, haven't they, since. But there's got to be like an element of like, I don't know, as much as like, you know, I'm that guy actually, to be fair, but you know, you're not moving forward even if you're progressing as even if the football's progressing. If you keep having to go back to Chrissy Wilder, just don't sack him. Do you know what I mean? If you know you're going to bring him back in, because he's going to get sacked at the end of the year or the year after. If he does well this year, he'll get sacked the year after because he'll say he wants some players or something, and they'll kick off again. And then 6 months, not even 6 months, 2 months later, they'll bring him back in and we're back to square one. So just don't sack him. I don't know, just get an interim in. Why don't they get rid of him, get an interim in, then renegotiate the contract, then bring him back in a game later, you know? And that way you get that manager bounce, don't you? Piss funny, though. I'm glad he's back in the building. Sheffield can't do much worse than they are doing. So I just thought it was worth a mention because obviously Chrissy Wilder is... We've unfortunately had a little bit more recent history with Sheffield United than I would have hoped in general. And that's no disrespect to Sheffield United. I'm not sure if any Sheffield United fans watch the channel, but I didn't really realise the vitriol teams like Sheffield United and people like Wilder had for Leeds United, even though like certain Leeds fans would say that he actually likes the club and all this stuff. Every time I've heard him speak about us, he's been pretty negative. And a few people fell for it last year, I believe. It was all part of his grandiose plan to say, no, they're the best team we've played this year. It's all buys into it so that when he started encroaching and creeping up, it could then go to his board that he gets sacked from and go, they were the best side in the league and we finished top. And that's what he wanted. Obviously, that's what he wanted. And you know it. And you know it. But my point being is then he could be like, I am the Lord, the Savior, the Holy One, aren't I? I am the fallen one. The fallen shall rise again. And he has, hasn't he? So, yeah, shit is as shit does. I just thought it was pretty funny. And then I thought I'd add your daft racist in there because it just is a bit of clickbait. But Leeds United have released a club statement, which is relatively short and sweet. But there was an incident one the last year when we was in the Championship and we beat Sunderland 2-1 at Ellen Road. And it was reported that Ethan Ampadu and Laji Ramazani were subjected to racial abuse from an individual in the away section as they left the pitch. Now, I'm glad it was from the away section because I did panic initially when Ramazani was involved. I thought if it was in the home section, it might have been Daniel Farker, might it? And, you know, because you never know, deal with Daniel. That was a joke. It's obviously, it went around Twitter that he's racist. And that's why he doesn't play members of the non-white community, you know. Both players have been supported by the club and the West Yorkshire Police individually following the incident. West Yorkshire Police have confirmed that a 66-year-old male from Bishop Auckland, Durham, was arrested on suspicion of causing racially aggravated harassment, alarm, or distress, and has now been summoned by postal requisition to appear at Leeds Magistrates on Friday the 17th. The Leeds United Football Club, Ethan Ampadu and Laji Ramazani would like to thank the West Yorkshire Police for their support in this matter. There is no room for racism in football or society. Now, I don't want to overly talk about this because I'll get called a daft racist, as the title will say. Firstly, I think if a 66-year-old male from Bishop Auckland, Durham, is saying anything even remotely racist, it's like, big lad, you know. I think we have more in common than we differ in general, and everybody's going on about. And I don't want to talk about politics; it's none of my business. I don't care. I couldn't care less, and we don't do it over here, do we? Not how we do it over here. There ain't nobody down round here. But we get told relentlessly that we've never been more divided and all this bullshit. Is there a case where the 66-year-old man is an absolute idiot? You know, racially aggravated harassment, it is, isn't it? You know, if he's being racist, he can say a racist comment, you need to get done for it, don't you know, whatever, getting banned or whatever. But does it make him a racist is my question to you. Because I don't know. It's a racial incident and it needs to be reported and dealt with correctly. But, you know, it's not excusing him. But just as a 66-year-old man, what the fuck are you doing getting so emotional? I've got to say, you know, as a 34-year-old man, I've got reservations about singing players' songs and getting players' names on my back now and stuff. It's like childish behaviour. So for that, you know, I'm not saying I'm mature, but for a 66-year-old man to be shouting racist shit in a public forum, in a public space, is so mental, isn't it? It's so like, that's what I'm saying. That's why it can't be like, he can't live his life like that. He's obviously got hepped up in the moment. It's just what a wild bastard. But obviously, you know, if you're gonna do shit like that, you need to get done for it. Providing he has done that. I mean, I can't imagine Ethan Ampadu and Laji Ramazani, you know, making it up. Why would they after a big win like that as well, 2-1? So it's obviously been heard. But you know, I've been scorned before at Leeds games for false fucking identity or whatever, misidentity or whatever the wording would be. Somebody would be able to tell me in the comments. Tanaka's had a chat, which it was well documented, wasn't it, last year, that he were in tears in dressing room and stuff. It's a weird one for me, this, right? And I'm gonna have to go be the daft racist and just put it down to like a cultural difference. But I can't help but feel like in the pit of my stomach, him crying under the pressure is not particularly a good thing. You know, it feels like he can't cut it. But the reality is he's got a brilliant attitude and he didn't let the team down even remotely come towards the end of the season. But he said, every week I played while thinking that I didn't want to play. If I played, there was a chance we would lose points. I was so nervous that I thought, I'll do anything, just give me the 3 points. Now, that's the good bit in it. That's what I'm saying. That's where, you know, we can't get too hepped up in it. And there's certain types of tears, isn't there, where, with the greatest respect of Aronson, when he said he doesn't like relegation battles, nobody does. So if he was crying, that feels like a weakness. With Tanaka, it's just like, I think it's an overwhelming moments in his life. Probably didn't anticipate that Leeds United would be this mad, this well supported, and just for that to be that level of pressure in the Championship, really, and just think, shit, this has been a long, grueling season. You know, we all know that the Championship's difficult, don't we? And ultimately, Tanaka's come out of, you know, German football in the lower tier, and there's no disrespect to that. And I don't watch enough of it to know, but I can only presume that the Championship is there's a competitive edge to the Championship that I'd argue no other league has. It actually got me thinking, to be honest, in general, and the reason why I think we'll stay up. And I put a video out yesterday, which, to be honest, I think the algorithm on YouTube did me over, but I did upload it a little bit later than I normally do. So go check it out if you've not seen it from yesterday, because it did pretty pants. But I was having like a bit of a laugh about, you know, finishing 9th when we last came up, and then Sheffield United with Chrissy Wilder, the main man. The fallen shall rise again for the 3rd time. That they finished 9th, and now there's more than one way to skin a cat. So do go check the video out. But I would like to back this up with a Baron Cross tweet, who said in 96-97, George Graham's Leeds scored a measly 28 goals and comfortably survived in 11th. Their top goal scorers was Brian Deane and Lee Sharp, which you think, yep, fair enough, you know, Brian Deane and Lee Sharp, but they both got 5 goals apiece. It shows it can be done, but is that what fans can expect from the 8 months ahead? Now, if you watch the video from yesterday, you will learn that Sheffield United scored 39 goals and conceded 39 goals and finished 9th in the league. We scored 54 and conceded 48. I can't remember off the top of my head. Now go watch yesterday's video if you can be asked. But basically, really, it's the closer to even you can get that number. If you're anywhere near the positive, anywhere between -8 and +8, you've got a real good chance of staying in the league, haven't you? There's a few things that matter. If you want to win the league, you've got to win the most amount of games, and don't worry about the losses. If you win 24 and the team below you win 22, you're probably going to win the league. If you want to stay in the league, your goal difference is enormous, isn't it? I mean, it's obviously when you get to the top tier of football, as in the top 4 teams, their goal difference is going to be through the roof, innit? And at that point, it doesn't really matter. But I do think the standard of the Premier League, because this won't back it up, the point that we finished 11th having scored 28 goals. Because I actually think in the early 90s, or when I was a young buck, teams were just extremely competitive. And I think we're going back towards that with a little bit more quality. So I feel like in the 90s and in 2010 onwards, there was like exceptional players that could change games. Obviously, you know, everybody's going to tell me about Kevin against Fulham, and I was the second coming, and he'd probably end up playing for Chrissy Wilder because the fallen shall rise again. But yeah, I don't know how competitive the league is in terms of absolute quality. I think the players are all of an insane quality. I think they've never been better at a first touch and a pass. That's why I love Longstaff. That's why it's all underrated. I think we're better off with a load of players that are just absolutely 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, every single game that they're playing. Never really put a foot wrong. That's the type of shit you want. I think that works better than having someone that lets you down every now and again. So I don't know. I think football's gone a little bit more like, I don't want to say rigid, because I know everybody goes on about formations and all that stuff, but I do think it's becoming more and more mundane and more like chess, even though people enjoy chess and it's an intelligent game. Football is still intelligent, but it's lost its vajazzle, hasn't it? It's lost its fanny, it's lost its whiff and minge. But yeah, what are your thoughts? That's what I think, as Russell Brand would say. What do you think? Are you a daft racist? Are you not? Tanaka didn't want to play. Take it easy, everybody. Like, subscribe, share the channel, tell a friend, tell 10 men, tell 10 men. Spread this thing like you've got wings on it, boy. We're in Luton today and driving past Luton Airport. I was about that. And I've come all the way back to do this from Luton. From Luton, man.
Boom.